love. It's the provision for the hearts. It is the sustenance of the souls. It's the pleasure of the eyes. As we grow spiritually, we must grow in our love for Allah, but also for His creation. That is a sign of increased religiosity. Why? Because as you grow spiritually, you start to tame and control your ego, your nafs, more. And as you do that, you become less self-centered and you begin to be able to love. One of the main obstacles to love is our self-centeredness. When love comes into your life, you're forced to step out of yourself and put the other person first. So he says, in life, never flee from love, because what love does is it prepares you for the love of the one who truly deserves love, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know that we have a nafs, and we know that we have a ruh, a spirit, ruh. The ruh, the spirit, yearns for the divine. It yearns for the obedience of Allah. The nafs, on the other hand, that is the part of us that desires, that has appetites. It's because of our nafs that we eat food, so we're able to survive. Because of our nafs that we desire to have intimacy, and then we have the progeny of human beings continuing. However, within the human being, there's a constant battle. So will we be inclined to spirituality and spiritual growth and transcending and rising above those lower desires? Will we give in to the desires? One of the things you notice in the Quran is that Allah does talk about humans in relation to animals. And He kind of draws a parallel and says, well, animals, what do? They eat, they sleep, they go and try to find water, they hunt, and they mate. That's what animals do. He says, but the human being's different. Allah has given the human being faculties, primarily an intellect, that's meant to set it apart. A spirit, a ruh, like a heart, that really is able to access higher realities. But if the human doesn't do that, and just continues to eat, drink, sleep, mate, do these things only, they're like animals. Animals have an excuse for why they do what they do. As a human being, you have the potential to rise above, and you don't. The nafs, sometimes they refer to it as having appetitive or animalistic desire and passion. There's something that's meant to set the human being apart. And if it doesn't, then what's the point? Path of spirituality is ultimately the goal of becoming perfectly human. You'll never become perfect, just to clarify. But the idea is to seek to the best of your abilities to move in that direction. You live with a purpose. You live with an objective. You recognize your reason for existence, why you're here and where you're going. If the human being doesn't do that, then they fall in the sight of God to the level of the animals.